Get ready, folks, to uncover the secrets about hair myths. I'm going to be revealing the truths about these crazy myths that have been keeping you from having your best hair. 15 of them, we're going to go through them today, and I'm not going to lie, the last one literally made me question whether or not it was true after 25 years of doing hair. Okay, if you are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. My name is Justin Hickox. I have been doing hair since 1995. Actually, it's been longer than 25 years, but I don't want to say that because it makes you seem old. This is my beautiful wife.
I'm Deanna.
Just threw her under the bus there. She's going to help you potentially win a brand new blow dryer. Yes, this amazing Life and Swift blow dryer. I've actually done an entire video about why I like it so much. I'll go ahead and link that in the description so you can check it out. I feel like a show host.
Yeah, game show host.
It is ridiculous.
A brand new car!
Oh my gosh. We're going to go through all these myths today. Then we're going to tally up how many of them she got correct. You're going to do is head down below in the description. And you're going to find a link to my Instagram page. And you're going to find this post. All you're going to do is simply comment on that post the number that you think she's going to get correct. I'm going to go through that post and I'm going to find everybody that got it correct. And I'm going to randomly pick. And one of you folks is going to find yourself a
brand new car!
Oh my gosh. Brand new blow dryer in the mail. One other little key thing. You have to follow me on Instagram too. I'm sorry. I'm not. Myth number one, shampoos and conditioners purchased at the salon are so much better for your hair than the shampoos and conditioners you can find at a drugstore. True or false?
True.
False.
What?
Yes. I have to give her a little bit of credit here, but technically she's wrong. Yes, more often than not, shampoos and conditioners that you find at drugstores have a tendency to have a little bit more of the concerning ingredients in them. They aren't always as good for your hair. However, to simply believe that buying a expensive shampoo and conditioner or buying one from the salon is just magically going to be great for your hair and not potentially be damaging is a very, very dangerous thought. The fact is, your hair needs specific things. I used to have my own line, and I had a conditioner in it called Intense Conditioner. Then I had a shampoo called Fresh Start. They were incredible. Fresh Start would strip everything out of your hair that you could possibly have in it, and then Intense Conditioner would be a really deep conditioner, put all the nutrients back into your hair. If you used Fresh Start and Intense every day on your hair, it would be a nightmare. It's just too strong, too much. So simply basing whether or not this shampoo or conditioner is good for your hair solely on the idea of how much you spent on it and where you got it, that could be a very dangerous downfall. Since I did say that technically speaking, usually you're gonna find higher end products at salons, and there is an element of getting what you paid for, but you get my overall point, right?
Yep.
Makes sense? Okay, so we'll call that a half a point.
Half a point.
Myth two.
Bing!
Heat tools are terrible for your hair.
True.
False.
Gosh darn it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Well, they can be.
Here's the truth. She is in some ways correct, but still overall, this is false. Heat tools can be bad for your hair. But with today's technology, and if you use them correctly, the amount of damage you see from most good implements used in a correct manner is so minimal that, again, the shampoo can do more damage for your hair. Staying away from heat tools, that's not something that I would concern myself with as a stylist at all. What I would concern myself with is using those tools correctly and finding good ones. But just pay attention to the fact that heat by itself is not absolutely horrible. And you know what? The last myth today is gonna dive into that a little deeper. I'm telling you, it's such a, you're gonna trip out when you hear the last one. You need to have your hair trimmed multiple times or frequently so that it grows faster.
No, because I only get my hair cut like twice a year.
You got that one right. It is not about getting your hair trimmed. It's not gonna make your hair grow faster. Your hair grows from your roots, not from your ends. So therefore, taking care of your scalp is far more important to faster hair growth than the ends will ever be. Imagine this. You go to a salon, they say, hey, you know what you need to do? You need to get your hair trimmed every 4 to 6 weeks so that those ends are nice and healthy so it grows out well. Well, if you go in and your hair grows 1/4 to 1/2 inch every 4 to 6 weeks, and then you get trimmed 1/4 to 1/2 inch off every 4 to 6 weeks, how long do you think it's going to take for your hair to get growth?
Forever.
In a day.
In a day. I was just going to say that.
I know. Up top. And that is why I say, don't stress about it. Pay attention to your ends. If they start to look extremely damaged, then yes, it is worth going in and just getting the very ends cut off. But to think that they're going to grow faster because you got them trimmed off, yeah, no. That's just false. Stop looking. You can't look at the answers. I told you this. You're trying to cheat.
I can't even see. I don't have my glasses on.
You're really only able to part your hair on one side.
False.
Totally false.
Ah.
But I'll tell you, I hear so many people say, my hair won't part on the other side. It's just always parted right here. This is my natural part. Getting your hair to part to one side or the other is simply a matter of training your hair to do that, right? And one simple way to do that is to start when your hair is wet, part it on the side or where you want it to part, and then start drying it to that side. Like right from the time that it's wet to dry, just start using a brush to get it to go to that side. That alone over time can help your hair get kind of used to doing that, and you'll find that you actually can get it to part back and forth or part on either side. This is actually a really good tip too, because it helps you create volume or different shapes. So once you find that your hair is always kind of going one way, going the opposite way is going to help to get that little bit of root lift. There you go. You got a little bit of extra volume. Busted. That is a false. Was that the Roger Rabbit? Is that what that is? Your hair loss is from your mother's father.
True.
That's what I thought. For multiple decades of doing hair. I guess it's false.
Huh.
After doing some research,
Okay.
it is actually just a split between your mom and your dad. And if I think about it, it kind of makes sense because my mom's father had a very specific texture. I don't have that. My brother doesn't have that. But my cousin, my mother's sister's son, he has it. Huh. So I think there is a split. I'm a little still mildly on the fence like that only because I've been taught that for so long. But I'm not a hair scientist. I'm a stylist.
Yeah.
So the science that I was reading behind it says it is not.
Interesting.
All right, still you're not getting that. 2.5. Number 6. Stress turns your hair gray. True or false?
I'm going to say true.
Technically false. Yes, this is crazy too. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is something that I believed for a very, very, very long time. I had to do research on this. However, I still believe that there's some essence of it that can do that. But apparently, it's just genetics.
Do you remember in the 80s there was a Poltergeist movie and like the mom had so much stress that her front of her hair
So
was gray.
they're actually...
So that's where I learned it.
Well, no, you're not off on that. There's been accounts of that, right? But now here's the thing that you do need to be aware about stress, and this is important. While it may or may not, supposedly may not, cause gray hair, there are so many other implications that arise from stress when it comes to hair. Things such as hair thinning, right? Hair loss, hair being brittle, hair breakage. There's so many different things. I have personally in the salon seen hair growth changed due to only what I could consider stress. So stress does have a major impact, but scientifically speaking, as far as the research I've done, it typically won't turn your hair gray. Just all the other things. Okay. With number 7 is your hair actually adapts to the shampoo that you use over time.
True.
False. Oh my gosh. Have I taught you nothing?
I don't watch your YouTube videos.
Your hair does not adapt to the shampoo that you're using. What happens is many times because something is changing with your hair. Meaning maybe you changed your hair color, your styling products, and they're maybe building up on your hair. You've changed the process in which you style your hair. Changed medication. Your hair is stressed out because you're stressed out and it's getting more coarse or brittle or whatever. There are a multitude of different things that can affect how your hair reacts, but it isn't just the shampoo is all of a sudden conforming to it and your hair is just like learning it and you're good.
No. Sure.
Hair myth number 8. Color actually takes better on dirty hair versus clean hair. True or false?
So are we talking color or are we talking bleach?
We're talking color.
False. Oh,
you are correct. You are correct. Yes.
I knew
yes,
it.
This is false. Yes, good job. Alrighty. So here's the thing. It doesn't actually mean because your hair is dirty that somehow it's going to actually respond to the color or allow the color to deposit in a more efficient or effective way. There is a reason that your stylist tells you to come with dirty hair, and more often than not, that's because dirty hair is actually easier to work with. It's easier to manipulate when we're behind the chair to kind of just get it to stay out of our way when we're taking sections, when we're applying different colors, so on and so forth. Does it play a role so significant that you should make sure that your hair is clean? Some people will say yes. I personally, from I said 27 years in the salon, I have never seen an issue where the product used in the hair, unless it was exceptionally dirty, like there's a serious amount of buildup, serious stuff going on, I've never really seen it play that much of an issue. So if your hair is typically clean, it's pretty good to go, and you just didn't shampoo it that day, you shampooed it yesterday, don't stress it. Go to the salon, you'll be okay. And if you did shampoo it that day, great. Your stylist might just put some product in it to make it dirty again so they can work with it. Who knows? But overall, the myth is false. Good job.
Thanks.
That was so loud.
That was a good one.
Wow. You just noticed some flakes on your shirt. Uh-oh. Time to run out and get some dandruff shampoo immediately because flakes equal dandruff. True or false?
I'm gonna get this one right. It is false.
Very false. Good job. Yes.
Because I get it all the time.
So do I. What many people will find is that as the climate changes, especially if you live in a place where you do see a lot of climate change, many times your skin will start to react to that drier or wetter climate. Therefore, your scalp can get dry, and that dryness flakes off and it ends up looking like dandruff. Dandruff typically is pretty noticeable because it's usually very oily, thick pieces versus just light little flakes of, well, skin is what it is.
Yeah.
I get that every year, man, and it gets bad. I'll scratch my head and look down like, oh.
It'll be like snow.
It's
It's like Christmas in July.
It is not. Myth number 10, women of a certain age should not have long hair.
Can I curse on this one?
True or false? Sure, go ahead.
That's a bunch of false.
She is 100% correct, yes. If you've followed my channel at all for any time, you know, I hope by this point, what my thoughts are on whether or not you should have any certain length of hair at any certain age. I think it's stupid, and people, whoever push this agenda, need to just shut their mouth and move along. Seriously, it's absolutely obnoxious, but there is maybe one reason if your stylist is saying that you should consider going a little bit shorter as we age, and that could be because many times our hair texture changes. A lot of times that means that the texture ends up being thinner, maybe even more brittle, maybe doesn't hold the shape as well as it used to when it was longer and when we were younger. So it may be beneficial just to your overall hair shape and style to bring that length up if it needs to be because of your texture. As far as a social norm goes, or a socially acceptable length, that's ridiculous, and I've got a few choice words that you can let them know if someone does tell you you should have a certain length. If you pluck one of your gray hairs, 2 more will arise in its place.
No, that's false.
Good job.
Yeah.
That is true. That is false. Absolutely
just
false.
silliness.
Sincerely, this has been told for so long that it's shocking how many clients I have that actually believe this idea, and I can kind of understand it. The fact of the matter is, first of all, one hair grows out of one follicle. So you can't pluck one and then just magically have 2 come out of that same
Because if we
follicle.
did that, people with thin hair would just start pulling their hair out.
Yeah. It'd be great. You can color it. Oh, well, if you didn't like gray, but at least you'd have twice the amount of hair.
Yeah.
Right? That's a great point, actually, that I hadn't thought of until you said it. Hair oils, like the products, Amazon oil, stuff like that you buy at the salon and apply to your hair, will just make your hair a greasy mess.
No.
False. You are correct. That is absolutely false. A lot of people, especially with fine hair or thin hair, have a tendency to believe that there's no possible way you could ever use an oil in your hair to give it any sort of shine because it's just going to make this ridiculous mess. Or it's the reason if you have oily hair that your hair is oily, and that is simply not true. There's a lot of things that contribute to oily hair, but usually it is your actual head, meaning the sebaceous glands in your head are producing sebum. And if they're more productive, that means your hair is going to feel oily or greasy. That isn't a product concern. That is your hair just naturally creating that. Deanna's hair is like that.
Thanks,
Your sebaceous
babe.
gland-
That was supposed to be our secret.
Yeah, there you go. So there are a couple ways to kind of combat this. First of all, any manipulation or stimulation of your hair follicles. Doing that, rubbing your hair in the shower while you shampoo your scalp, combing through it an excess amount of time, or running your hands through your hair a lot because of the oils in your hand. All of those things can create more of an oily reaction in your hair. So if you do feel like you have oily scalp, that's something that you should probably stay away from. Don't stimulate those sebaceous glands quite so much. And when it comes to oils, there's kind of a way that you can look at the oils that you find. If you grab an oil in the salon and you open it up and you take a look at it, the thicker that oil is, if it's more of the consistency of like an actual dense, think thicker than like an olive oil, then it's likely going to be a little bit heavier on your hair. If it's a lot lighter than that, it almost feels watery, then the likelihood of it being a lot less aggressive in terms of its oil is going to be true. So if it's something that you're really concerned about, find something that's a little bit closer to the consistency of water, work it through mid-shafts to ends when your hair is wet or damp before you dry it, and it can do a great job of not making your hair feel greasy or laying it flat, but still giving you a lot of shine. There you go. That was very long. You should be adjusting the air temperature on your hot tools, think irons and curling irons, stuff like that, based specifically on your hair texture. True or false?
True.
False. Okay, this is probably going to get me some flack from stylists. I'm not going to lie. Here's the truth. In theory, people will say, hey, my hair is maybe damaged or whatever, so I'm going to turn that heat way down, and therefore I'm going to cause far less damage to my hair.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yes.
And then you go over it multiple times.
You go over it 1,000 times trying to create the same result. When in reality, if you just raise that temperature up to roughly between 365 and 400 degrees, it's going to be far more efficient. It's going to take you one swipe to get that end result, and you're going to end up with the style that you want. It's not inherently more damaging. We also have to remember that today, as long as, again, kind of that caveat, you're using good tools, the technology and tools with ceramic technology, with the amount of even heat and heat distribution that you're getting and how efficient the tools are, the amount of damage is far less than it used to be even 5, 10, let alone 15 or 20 years ago. It's a different ball game. Okay, 14, we are almost to the last one. If your hair is oily, you definitely should not be using a conditioner because it's just gonna weigh it down.
No, I'd say that's false.
You got it right. Look, you're doing so much better. You just had to warm up. That's all. You know, you had to get it a little under your belt there. This is an absolute falsity, but again, this is something that I hear all the time. Hey, my hair is oily, and therefore, if I use conditioner, it's so heavy, it's just gonna weigh it down even more. It's already weighed down because it's oily.
I personally don't really concentrate on putting a conditioner on my roots anyways. I concentrate more on the ends and then bringing it up slowly too.
I feel like you have listened to me a little bit.
Maybe I have, yay!
No. The point is, she is correct. Just because your hair is oily doesn't mean you shouldn't use conditioner. In fact, your hair still needs the nutrients that conditioner will give you. Like she said, start at the ends, work your way up through the midshaft. Ignore the roots, you don't need them at the roots. And then just don't use something that's exceptionally heavy, like a deep conditioner, every single day. You shouldn't be doing that anyway, but yeah, just pay attention. Light conditioner, something that gives your hair some moisture and some nutrients, and you need it. There you go. 15. It is healthier for your hair to allow it to be air dried versus using heat from a blow dryer to dry it.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely false.
No.
Yes.
I don't think I believe you.
There is, I know, I didn't believe it either.
I think you're wrong.
I have a study that actually cites exactly how and why it is actually no more damaging to dry your hair than it is to allow it to air dry. Scientists took 5 different sections of hair. So they have one section that they used to use as a control group. So this was not treated in any way, shape, or form. It was a baseline to understand how the other ones had changed. The next section, they allowed to wet down and then air dry. Ambient temperature, as if you didn't do anything to it, you let your hair air dry. The other 3 sections, they were actually drying them with the same blow dryer, but just different amounts of time and different distances away from the actual hair. Here are the results. The moisture content decreased in all of the treated groups compared to the untreated control group. However, the differences in moisture content among these groups over here were not statistically significant, and cell membrane complex was damaged only in the naturally dried group without the hair dryer.
So there's more damage to air dry your hair than to...
There's more cell membrane complex damage. Follow me here. So what does that conclusion come to? It means that although using a hair dryer causes more surface damage than naturally drying, using a hair dryer at the distance of, say, 15 centimeters with continuous motion, like I teach people how to keep moving that, causes less damage than drying hair naturally.
So you're saying that the water, the air dry on the inside of the hair versus the... Is that what they're saying?
They're saying that this is like, all I understand is that it causes less damage.
That's crazy.
And I'll actually put a copy to this study in the description below so you can read it for yourself. The myth is that, oh my gosh, if I let it air dry, it's so much better than if I dry it with a blow dryer. It's way worse. And that is simply not true. With all that said, how many did you get right?
I lost count.
Okay, that's fine. Get ready, folks, to that have been secrets and secrets and